We are recording.
Welcome to episode 140 of the Kraken Pod, a podcast for Seattle Kraken fans, those new and old to hockey, and hockey fans looking to have some fun along with you. We try to go into what lies beneath when it comes to everything Seattle Kraken and the NHL. In your Kraken reaction, give me a break, please. Please, hockey gods, give me a break. The Kraken are on Four Nations face-off break. What does the second half look like? Will the Kraken make a move? We'll chat about it a little bit. There's some bright spots, but again, we're trying to make the most out of a not-so-good situation. In NHL news, as I just mentioned, the Four Nations face-off is here. I am here for it. Let's go, Team USA. And then really, I think what this episode is mostly going to be about, Joey just lived mine, like Super Bowl life, like vicariously. Joey just lived it for all of us. He's going to have his recap of basically living and working in the middle of Super Bowl week in New Orleans, secret shows, sending me videos of celebrities pouring him shots, insanity. I can't wait for that in 3 stars of the week. So let's get to it. Episode 140 of the Kraken Pod. Let's go. What is up? My name is Jeff Januzik, and this is Super Bowl buddy extraordinaire, my friend, my co-host,
Joey Cirillo.
You're alive. You made it.
I feel not alive. Holy shit, man. What a whirlwind. I've never, I've never experienced anything like that before. I'm excited to talk about it. I can tell you that much. And that's pretty much all I have to offer for tonight, because your boy is running on no sleep in like 12 to 14 hour plus work days for the past 7 days in a row. So it's been a whirlwind, but came out the other side, Jeff. We came out the other side.
If you somehow just stumbled into this podcast, we live in the New Orleans area. Joey's in New Orleans. I'm just outside of New Orleans. And of course, this was just the center of the sporting universe with the Super Bowl here in New Orleans. And Joey works in hospitality and basically was around everything going on when it comes to celebrities and like secret shows and parties and just being in the vibes, being in the whole insanity of it all. And he experienced some really cool things, which we'll talk about here in our 3 stars of the week. So let's talk about your Seattle Kraken first. Let's talk about that, some NHL stuff, because there actually is some cool hockey coming up. So let's get to it. Let's get to your Kraken reaction. All right, man, breaking it down. Look, I watched that Red Wings Kraken game. That was a fun game. That was a game where I didn't think about the season. I didn't think about where the Kraken were. I was excited to watch the Red Wings. I really haven't watched the Red Wings play. And it was fun. It was fun to watch. It was an awesome game. Shane Wright, I mean, you've been leading the charge, by the way, on Twitter.
More ice time.
And whenever he gets ice time, Shane Wright is rewarded, scores 2 goals in this game. The Kraken lose in a shootout to the Red Wings, which is like, of course, a shootout. Like, still the same Seattle Kraken team that we know and we do love, but they just absolutely suck in the shootout. And they lost. Patrick Kane, holy shit. This dude is so silky smooth. Not only did he win the game with his goal in the shootout, he also became the NHL all-time leader in shootout goals. And it was just like a silky smooth tic-tac-toe, boom, backhand to like bar down, score the game winner. It was an exciting game. I wish the Kraken would have made it happen, but I will take that as an exciting game, because the next game against the Maple Leafs, the only highlight I got is Joey Decord getting assist on Golvanen's goal.
That was a highlight. Really quick, before we can gloss over the game against the Leafs, because that was an absolute atrocity. I did catch the Patrick Kane shootout goal, and I saw your tweet about it, and you're 100% right. That is a guy that the Seattle Kraken need to study, because we do not have men of that caliber when it comes to that particular skill set. And that was so fun to watch and was just so smooth. And man, it was very, very impressive. And I agree, that was a very entertaining game. Unfortunately, It resulted in a loss. Then we moved on to Toronto, and then that game, it was just not fun from the beginning. The vibes were just not there.
Yeah, and watching the Red Wings game too, they've gotten so hot since they hired Todd McClellan. And again, I think that you look at the Red Wings and I saw hope for the Seattle Kraken in this is, the trade deadline's coming up March 7th. Right? It's going to be basically a sprint after we get back from the Four Nations face-off break. And the Red Wings are where the Kraken were or are now, right? And basically that is like the Kraken are full of role players and they have some talent, but they don't have like top tier talent. Now, the Red Wings don't have a superstar, but they have three players that are like really damn good and at the top of the league. Lucas Raymond.
Yes.
You've got Patrick Kane, who still gets it going. Actually, they have a bunch of guys. That Alex DeBrincat, like he's
now you're naming the roster. It's like, oh, they actually have a good amount going on here.
But he also too, since he's coming to Detroit, hasn't been like on fire. And anyway, so they have, and they've got a bunch of other dudes too. They have some other players that like are, if not A-list, B-list talent, right? The Kraken are more like C and D. So, I don't know if they're going to go and get somebody decent right now. They're probably going to be big time sellers at the deadline. And then in the offseason, will they land a big name? But at some point in the next season or two, the Kraken are going to land a big name or a couple of big names. They need it. And I actually have something here coming up here in a second about, we can just, we have to talk about Calgary, I guess, because Calgary is actually pretty sweet. Anyway, long story short is Seattle a destination for some teams? I found this pretty cool stat that shows that maybe we could get a superstar here because maybe players like Seattle. So Sunday night, go ahead.
I said maybe, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. Kraken beat Calgary, the Flames 3-2. Again, it's like I can just pre-write these tweets. And I feel like when I put them out, I don't know why, when I put a gloom and doom tweet out, then something happens because it was 2-0, with like 6 minutes left in the third period. It was 2-0 Calgary. I was like, God, this is not fun to watch. And then Shane Wright starts the comeback. Shane Wright, what does he need, Joey?
More ice time.
Shane, more ice time, Wright, starts the comeback. With 6 minutes to go.
Yes.
And bing, bang, boom, we go to overtime. And this is like, holy shit. Matty Beniers putting a shot on goal, which, Matty, I like what Matty's doing this season. I like it. He scores the OT winner. That was a fun win for the Seattle Kraken. So good for them. They win in Calgary 3-2 overtime. And the young guys getting it done. Really like to see that. So going into the break for Four Nations face-off, we get a win. Maybe that's what we need. We can rattle off 15, 16, 20 wins in a row. We're right back in this thing, Joey.
I know I've been a little bit quiet, and that's because I didn't have a chance to watch any of these games. So I wanted to say thank you because you've been carrying the Kraken pod for the week because I was only able to catch like highlight clips of the games, including the goal. Well, I want to call a highlight because, our Detroit Red Wings ended up beating us. But, like, including the Matty Beniers goal, I did get that notification on my phone, and I went on there to check it out. But I have not been able to catch the games. You've been carrying the podcast. There's a very good reason why Saturday night I was incapacitated for that period of time. But we'll get into that here shortly. Okay. But thank you for carrying the podcast.
Well, I did my best. Also, too, you left it in the hands of the dude who has got young kids and usually passes out by 10, 15. Yeah.
And all the games are so late again, man. And I was trying to track stuff on my phone, but then listen, dude, it was Super Bowl week. There's so much shit happening, and it's really hard to be like, wait, let me see what's going on. And at the second intermission really quick against Calgary. Like that was not the reality for the past week, Jeff.
Yeah, no, I totally get. I'm excited. I'm trying to get to 3 stars so I can hear the Super Bowl adventures here.
Yes.
This was kind of cool. There's some guys put out a question. Basically, like players were interviewed, right? So players were asked, and this is a poll of NHL players. which team would be on your no trade list? And as soon as I saw this, I was like, oh, dude, Seattle's going to be on there, man. Well, this is pretty crazy. Number one, according to an 82 player survey by The Athletic, okay, this is from The Athletic, the number one no trade is Winnipeg.
Oh, I was going to try to guess. Okay, Winnipeg. There we go.
Can you guess why?
Just location. I mean, I think it has less to do with the organization and how brutal the weather is mostly year round. I mean, it's absolutely unbearable unless you're from there. So getting sentenced to Winnipeg, it's like you're in hell, except for instead of fire, it's ice. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what's going on here?
Yeah, it's absolutely brutally cold. That 48% of these players picked Winnipeg, number one. Number two is Buffalo, about 20%. San Jose, right around 9%.
Okay.
Then Calgary, Ottawa, Anaheim, and the Rangers. And then they break it down.
Rangers being up there is surprising.
Yeah, I wonder why. You know, I mean, my only thought would be that players do not want to go to the number one market in the country where everything's scrutinized, analyzed. And, you know, we don't hear about it nationally, but I guarantee you in local media, you know, the Rangers getting picked apart every day. Like players don't want to go, I think, necessarily be part of that. You know what I mean? So
mostly with Toronto, you know, same issues over there. Just everything's under a magnifying glass.
Yep. And then the rest of the teams receiving votes. And this is where I was like, I thought I'd see the Seattle Kraken. Seattle Kraken not on this list. They're not ranked, but Chicago, Montreal, the Islanders, Philly, St. Louis, the Maple Leafs, Utah, Vancouver, and then the Vegas Golden Knights, your favorite team. So, I mean, that's cool. That's pretty nice that no Seattle on the list. That's awesome. I love that.
I mean, I think that the organization, for the most part, the organization is ran well. You know, it just Seattle is a tricky place to play. You know, just in terms of like the travel time and stuff like that. But where the NHL is different, you know, I'm thinking about this in terms of like NFL for the Seahawks, baseball, Mariners, all that. But like you just mentioned, you have these other teams in the NHL, like across Canada, where you have a Winnipeg and a Calgary. Like, if you think, you know, traveling to and from Seattle is hard, live in Winnipeg for a year. So it definitely gives some perspective, and I think actually helps out the Seattle Kraken. So it's cool to see that they're not, you know, breaking the top of that list. That is a list I would like to not be on.
Yeah. Well, there's another list. This is kind of cool. Question for more players: who has the best facilities for visitors? So visitors locker room, which arena, which city has the best facilities, right? Okay. Number one on the list, the Detroit Red Wings.
Wow.
Little Caesars Arena, pretty awesome place. 25% said that was great. Number two, your Seattle Kraken, 22%. So
I was going to guess 23. Dang it. Okay.
Climate Pledge Arena at number two, some of the best facilities. And then number three is the Edmonton Oilers. So, so Seattle, that's pretty cool. So what we've learned so far, what we can guess is that players appreciate the digs that the Kraken have to offer. They've got one of the newest, you know, stadiums in the league. It's super nice. Beer's a little expensive, but hey, whatever. And maybe players would be cool with being in Seattle and being traded to Seattle or signing with Seattle in the offseason. So maybe there's something there. Maybe they can work something. Maybe we'll see a superstar before we know it. It would be awesome. So
I would very much be into that. I'm excited to see what happens throughout the rest of the season before the trade deadline, and obviously in the offseason. But I think there are some more moves on the horizon here very shortly.
I think so. I think so too. So that's nice to see. I do appreciate that. I don't like to see this is the Kraken season Instagram account, which is pretty awesome.
Season, yeah.
Kraken season. Great Instagram account. I don't know who's behind it, but they do a great job. They have these nice they got some good graphic design going on there. Anyway, the Kraken sadly have the fourth toughest schedule remaining for the rest of the season after the break. So remaining strength of schedule for each NHL team. Opponents have a winning percentage of .565. So the Kraken have the fourth toughest schedule. The Red Wings have the toughest schedule remaining. So it's Red Wings, Islanders, Sharks, Kraken. They have it pretty
By the way,
easy.
there's teams like
Pretty tough.
the Leafs, the Caps, and the Avs, and the Knights, and the Oilers, who are all in the very bottom in terms of like they are playing the easiest strength of schedule for the remainder of the season, and these are all playoff caliber teams. So watch out for those guys to make a run.
Yeah. So I'm going to be interested to. I want to see what the Kraken are doing now that they're off. We know, Capo Caco.
Can't help yourself.
I know I can't. It's just it's one of the highlights of my season is saying his name. So Capo Caco is going to be playing for Finland, which is awesome, and that's the only Kraken player that's playing in the Four Nations face-off tournament. But it is going to be fun to see where players are going. Like, I'm going to have to be checking Instagram accounts, seeing what are they doing? Are they taking some time off? I mean, they're basically getting themselves 12 days off, which is fantastic. So good for them. Look, the Kraken need to go find themselves. Last season they had that boys trip and they came back from the trip. Was it 2 seasons ago when they went on the trip and that was when they went to the playoffs? Was that
the mom's trip? I could be wrong. I don't remember.
I don't know. Anyway, the dudes need to go disconnect for a while and then come back fresh. So I am excited about that.
It was not the All-Star break because the All-Star break, remember right when they came back, that is right when Burakovsky went down. It was a game against the Islanders, first game back from the break. Or maybe it was Bjorkstrand. Anyway, either way, it was not good. And it was a bad omen to start the second half of the season.
Well, I'm excited, though, to watch the Four Nations face off. You'll hopefully be recovered by Super Bowl when this goes down. Games start on, I believe, Wednesday, and then there's games on Thursday. Or it may be I think maybe they start on Thursday. I'm not exactly sure. But the biggest one is going to be this Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm pretty sure 7 p.m. Eastern. It's Canada, USA.
Yeah,
so
that's a big one.
That's going to be just fantastic. There's these teams are loaded. Finland, I think they've got a couple injuries. So like, are they going to be the best team? Finland has been so strong in world hockey for the last several years. Man, I know everybody's salivating over this, Connor McDavid, Nate McKinnon, Sidney Crosby playing together. But dude, I'm telling you, in my experience with international play, Canada is, of course, on paper amazing, but sometimes it doesn't translate. And it just feels so good right now about what's happening with Team USA.
Okay.
Connor Hellebuck, I was reading some analysis about this Team USA team, and dude is having the season like out of control right now, right? But his whole thing is that he can't win when it comes to the big games. He can't win playoffs. So, can he continue to be the world's best goaltender, and can he help backstop Team USA to a win for this tournament? That's going to be really big to watch. Things like the Kachuk brothers playing together, will they play on the same line? What's going to happen there? I think if there's any chinks in the armor for Canada, it's their goalie situation. Not the greatest. Do you know who's on the roster when it comes to?
I have not even had a chance to look at these rosters. Who's starting in net?
Well, they haven't. I don't know if they officially said, but Aiden Hill from the Golden Knights.
Okay. I mean, if this were the Stanley Cup playoff, I'd be betting on him because that guy can turn it on when he needs to.
Right. So he's pretty good. And Sam Montembeault from the Canadiens. Okay. So, by the way, I saw a French guy at Costco in New Orleans today wearing a Canadiens shirt, and I said, "Go Habs!" And he didn't speak any English, and he turned to his wife, and she obviously said to him in French, like, "What did that guy just say to you?" And I heard him say, "Go Habs!" And they were like, "Oh!" So anyway, they were really excited about that.
Why are these things happening?
Yeah. So I saw a hockey shirt in Costco. I mean, I got to say something.
I get it. I totally get it. I would have not said anything, but we're not surprised by that.
Third goaltender on probably your starter. The starting goaltender, I would guess, is your boy, Jordan Binnington.
Damn it.
Yeah. So, dude,
It'd be great if he had issues with his visa and then could just never come back to the States.
That'd be awesome. What if it got torn up? I'm just saying this is like if you thought about rooting for Canada over Team USA, dude, there you go. There's the like Uno reverse. You cannot root for Canada. Not that I was worried about you, but Jordan Binnington just seals the deal right there. So are you going to watch these games? I'm excited. I'm pumped.
Right now, this week, no. I'm so behind on work from Super Bowl stuff. I just need to catch up on life. I think I've yawned 30 times since we've done. So I'm trying to keep it going, Jeff. I'm hanging on by a thread here. I need a full night's sleep.
All right, good.
And to recover. I will try to watch. I do want to watch the games. I would love to watch Canada, USA. Obviously, I want to watch Finland play just because now I have an affinity for that lovely nation. Now that Kako's on our team. And also, we have the Finn finisher. He just isn't playing for Finland this year, which I actually am surprised by the way. But anyways, I digress. But yeah, man. So I'm excited. I am going to try to watch some games. Just depends on scheduling and all that. But I am excited for it. I think it's going to be a really awesome tournament. And also, the Kraken are off until the 22nd. So we have 12 days for the boys to get some rest.
That's going to be nice. We think we all all Kraken fans deserve this. You've earned it. If you love the Seattle Kraken like we do, you've earned this. Enjoy your time off. Wednesday, it's 8 Eastern. It's Canada playing Sweden, and the United States then face Finland on Thursday. And like I said, Saturday is Canada, United States. Also, too, one of my part-time employees is from Finland. She's Finnish.
What?
Yeah. Her name's Ida Vahaskari.
Wow.
And,
okay.
Yeah. She's a badass. She was a wartime journalist before she moved to New Orleans, and now she makes videos. So
wow, now she makes videos for like king cakes. Unbelievable character arc.
Absolutely awesome. Like she's incredible.
She's on the front lines, and you're like, "Hey, did you get that sprinkle shot for me yesterday?"
she was like she'll go to a shoot, and like I know this about her now, but like it was like, hey, you got to go shoot this thing with the CPA about interviewing them about their mission statement. Are you good if I'm not there? She's like, Jeff, I used to be a wartime journalist. I've got this.
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome.
Like, I interviewed Putin last year. I can't ask this guy a question on camera. Yeah,
right.
I think we're good here.
No, she's totally good. So anyway, hold on, I need a second. I just realized we're gonna have to take a pause. Make a quick note right here.
Okay.
I'm pulling up the shit. I thought I had it open.
You're good. I'll make a note of it.
Let's see. I'm gonna find this real quick. My bad.
You're good, man.
So we're doing. Shoot, this is all Super Bowl reads. Okay, I got that.
I'll say 22:44 break.
Yes, I got this. Hold on. I'm getting my ducks in a row. What to say? Almost there. Where is this damn thing? No, it's not it.
Oh, man.
Where's pick six?
Oh man, I cannot wait to sleep tonight.
Yeah. I'm also. Oh, I'm not doing pick six, dude, because it's all about football and it's over.
Okay.
I'm just doing DraftKings and we'll just deal with it.
That's fine.
Okay. So before we get to 3 stars in this epic Super Bowl rundown, man, what a game. Oh my God. I can't believe that the NFL season is officially done. And that just makes me get more amped for, I think I'm gonna have to go look and see. I don't know what the DraftKings Sportsbook app, like I would assume, okay, DraftKings has got it across the board. Four Nations face off. I need some parlays and some Four Nation face off games. So I need to go look into that. Plus golf. I'm getting pumped about golf. We got the tournament coming up here soon. Dude, Joe, you gotta rest up just to get ready for the NCAA tournament around the corner. Come on.
I can't, man. I'm so tired.
Yeah. Here, look. So DraftKings Sportsbook, it is awesome. It's so much fun. You can spend as little as you want to get involved. And if you are a new customer, if you don't have the DraftKings Sportsbook app, what you need to do is download it and use the code THPN for the Hockey Podcast Network. We're proud members. Use code THPN when you download DraftKings Sportsbook app, and you're going to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. So you put $5 of your own money on it, you make that little deposit, boom, $200 in bonus bets are there right for you. So have some fun with it. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER and see our show notes for details. So let's get to it, man. 3 stars of the week. Like, I don't even know if we're going to have stars, dude, because I just want to hear about this epic Super Bowl run that you had. Last time we talked, Joey, we recorded a week ago on Monday, and you were just diving into Super Bowl week.
Yeah.
And all the work that you had to do and all the events that you had to do. And I don't even know if you've thought about how to talk about this, but like, take me through your week. You went from like working your butt off to then all of a sudden going to all these things. And next thing you know, you're sending me video of Rob McElhaney, like pouring shots right in front of you.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell, dude? Explain to me, how was Joey's Super Bowl week?
Did you get to go to anything, by the way? Did you make it down here to check out any of the stuff?
My 3rd star of the week was making it to the Super Bowl experience with the kids, and it was awesome. It was super cool, dude. Like, it was super crazy crowded, but the vibes were awesome. Everybody was in a great mood. Super crowded. It was a really well done event. Did you actually go over to the convention center?
No, I did not.
I know the Super Bowl is in San Francisco next year.
It's gonna be awesome.
It's, if you can make it to a Super Bowl, or you live in the city, go to those things that are free. It was totally cool. It wasn't free. I had to buy tickets for it, but the kids had a great time. Here, dude, here's the deals. We got in there and it was Friday afternoon. Half of our kids' school, I think, did the same thing. We saw so many kids from our city there. Like, half of Ford's classmates were there, which is crazy because we live 40 minutes outside the city. But we stood in line for the field goal kick, and the kids wanted me to kick the field goal. And they wanted me to do it because you could pick three points to kick a field goal. And you had to wait an hour. And by the way, there's like hundreds of people watching everybody kick the ball.
Of course.
So the kids wanted me to go first, and they wanted me to kick it from the furthest away, which is probably like 10 yards or 15 yards, but still, like, I don't kick field goals, dude. But guess what? I fucking nailed it, dude. I nailed it.
Yeah. And who got video? Who took video?
Someone took video. Yep. I'm gonna put it out. I
need this video on our Twitter at Kraken. Please upload that video.
You know how, like, you do something and you envision yourself, like, say, like I nailed it. First of all, like, I watched a ton of dudes like totally just like wank this thing off to the side. You know?
Yeah, of course.
And
pressure, man. Everyone's standing around. No one there is kicking field goals.
I nailed it, and then I watched the video. And now, secondly, and really most importantly, Ford nailed his kick. It was so awesome. He made it. But then I watched the video of me kicking the field goal, and in my head, I'm like, oh, dude, that was awesome. I did the whole, like, I stepped out of the side.
You lined it up. You took the 3 steps back, one to the side. You fucking put your hand out there like you're testing out the wind.
Oh, dude, in my head, it was like glorious. And like my leg was like sweeping up, like it was perfect. And I hung in the air for a second because I got so much velocity on it.
Yes.
No, when I watched the video, it looked like my legs were made out of cement. And I just like kind of like a drugged Bigfoot, kind of like ran up to it and just like kind of put my foot through it right in the middle. And it just went boom.
Yeah.
And I looked like the most unathletic person on the planet.
You're like, holy shit, that's how I move. And in my head, I was like, just killing it.
Like a gazelle. Now, I did crush it straight, like right down the middle, you know, but like it was literally like I was a sack of potatoes, just like, smashing the ball. So,
yeah.
And the only other thing is there was this other one where they had they were shooting footballs out of the jugs machine, like straight up in the air, kind of like you're catching a punt.
Yeah.
And Ford was in line. We were in line, and all of his buddies, some buddies from older class, were in there. And he watched like 6, 7 of these kids all try to receive the punt, catch the punt, and like only one of the 6 kids caught it. And then he went like next and fucking caught it, dude, and like nailed it. So I was like so proud of him for that. So overall,
it's awesome, man. It's awesome.
We experienced it. It was great, man. We had dinner in the city, and it was just awesome. Great
Where'd
vibes.
You go?
We actually headed out of town. We went to Lakeview. We had Pizza Dominica. We love
Okay.
Pizza Dominica. So that was pretty
Okay.
cool. To go into the city was insane. Like we tried to park like more towards Julia Street coming off of I-10
Mm-hmm.
and like we got maybe I'd say a block away from I-10 towards the convention center and it was just log jam traffic.
Yeah.
So I had to like make a loop back and I had to park in a lot that was way too expensive, but at the time way worth it.
Yeah.
So trying to get like into the heart of the city with the vehicle
No, good luck with that.
was not going to happen. So
Not happening. Yeah.
no, but it was a great night. We just had great memories from it. It was really awesome. So
That's
that
badass.
was my Super Bowl experience. Everything else I experienced on television or through you. So,
Yeah.
I mean, like you're working the whole week. Did you worked and then you started going to events for work, or do you just went to events on your own? Like, what was your like? First of all, what was your like? I can't believe this shit's happening right now. Moment. Did you have one of those moments or 10 of those moments?
There's definitely a couple of those. First off, I'm happy it happened. It's kind of stupid that it happened, but it happened at the worst possible time. And you and I have like briefly talked about this, obviously not on the pod, but so I think this was Tuesday or Wednesday. I was out walking around for work, getting content for like the restaurants I run. And I'm like walking along the Mississippi River. I turn to the right and I see this giant barge that's all orange with a giant inflatable Chester on it. And I'm like, does Cheetos have a boat? Like, what the fuck? Now, for those that do not know, and there's a lot of people listening to this podcast that will not know this because you don't live in New Orleans and they probably didn't show this for the Super Bowl coverage, but there has been a $360 million super yacht that has been parked in front of the city of New Orleans on the Mississippi River, which is, it just doesn't belong there, right? Mississippi's very dirty, brown water, like it's disgusting. And then there's this $360 million, yacht with like a basketball court and a helicopter pad and pools. And, anyways, the whole thing is fucking insane. And so I pull out my phone, I take a quick video. I'm like, oh yeah, look, it's the Cheetos. I call it the USS Cheeto pulling up next to a yacht. Ha ha ha. 3-second video. Think absolutely nothing of it. Share it really quick. Put my phone back in my pocket. And long story short, that goes like mega viral. I think right now it's like not mega viral, but 5.4 million views or some shit like that. Like for the next like 3 days following that, my notifications, when I say every second, is actually quicker than that. It was like every half second. It's like it was just nonstop. And the reason why I say that was bad timing is because I was also entrenched in doing Super Bowl work for work and also doing events outside of that just for myself, that like these things I was going to. So I feel like my head has just been on a swivel trying to do 8 million things at once at all times. And it's been incredibly fucking challenging to kind of balance all of that. I think for me, the biggest, I guess, like a couple of holy shit, like this is fucking awesome moments. I ended up spending some time with Mina Kimes from ESPN. Those that are listening to this podcast probably know her because she's a big time, Seattle diehard sports fan. And that was by pure happenstance. An individual that I know happens to be a family member of Mina's. I had no fucking idea. And this person saw that I was basically at the ESPN taping the day before because I was kind of in that area, and just let me know about her connection to Mina. It was like, hey, come meet up with us and come hang out. The next day, I thought it wasn't going to work out because they were running late. There's traffic everywhere. Mina was like in a car trying to get to the taping. They're about to film NFL Live. And I was like, yeah, no worries. I actually had gifted some Kraken Pod merchandise into like a little bit of a bag. I was like, you know what? We have some extra t-shirts, a couple extra stickers. Mina's awesome. And because she's giving me her time, I'll give her a couple of things, just a little bit of a thank you. Nothing crazy. And so I get this text, they're not going to make it. And I was like, no problem. I honestly kind of expected that. Not a big deal. Just let me know where you want me to drop like this little, bag off, because I have a couple of things. And then I get a text. It's like, yeah, Mina just said, fuck it. Come up here and hang out. So I'm like, all right. So I go to this hotel. I'm being vague for a couple of things on purpose, because I don't want to give away too much information on some things that people probably want to be kept private. But I end up on the second floor of this hotel. When I come out of the elevator, I'm surrounded by, there's nothing but, it's either armed like security, like military personnel, or ESPN people, or celebrities, or athletes, or both, right? So I like step out onto this floor, and it's just like famous people everywhere. And so I go in this room, and Mina Kimes is off to the side, and she's doing like her hair and her makeup, and I'm just sitting at a table, and they give me like an ESPN badge. So now I'm just kind of hanging out there. And
What?
yeah, so long story short, I meet Mina. She's super nice. And then she's like introducing me to other people there. Like Laura Rutledge comes up, and she does like NFL Live and stuff like that. She's also very well known. And Mina's like, "Oh, hey, Laura, this is Joey." And I was like, "What the fuck is happening?" So we walk out from this hotel to the taping. So I'm walking like next to Mina, like up to the stage. And then she was like, "Yeah, come up on the stage and watch the show." So we're on the show. We're on the stage for NFL Live, and I was there, and I took some good photos and videos and stuff like that, and I tweeted it out, and that was really cool. And then afterwards, it was just chaos because they had to like whisk her off to a car to go to like her next event, and it was just crazy. But yeah, man, long story short, I got to gift Mina Kimes some Kraken Pod merch. So Mina is now a part of the Kraken Pod fam, whether she has accepted that officially or not. But I thought of you because you're like, you end up in these situations and you never ask people for a photo or anything like that. And as soon as the show was over, it was getting fucking crazy because there was just chaos. Like they were filming their last segment directly in front of the crowd. People are getting rowdy. They're screaming like, "Yeah, fucking Eagles!" Like everyone's going nuts. And Mina's like, "I'm out of here. Like I gotta go. Thank you for coming out." And I very quickly was like, "Can I get a picture really quick?" Like really quick. I felt super awkward doing it. It's the worst fucking angle of all time of me. It's the worst angle photo ever because I'm a big dude. And so if you're taking like a photo in my face, I have to like kind of like lean backwards.
Looking at it right now.
I have to like lean backwards to like kind of make myself fit in it.
You're like, "Hey."
Where she can just like straight up face it and like she looks gorgeous and is like doing the peace sign. And I'm over here like, like I'm also like, I'm nervous. My adrenaline's going. There's 8 million things going on. I'm like hanging out with Mina Kimes. Like it's just a whole thing. But that was a very cool moment. I think the next holy shit moment was I found out that Rob McElhenney was going to pop into a neighborhood bar of mine on Saturday night. And I'm tired because the night before that, I had ended up out until 5 a.m. I went to a Jeffrey Ross. I went to his roast. That was really cool. And then from the roast, come to find out, right down, like literally down the street, like a block away, Diplo was playing a show. So I went to go catch Diplo. He brought out Dylan Francis. They played until like 4 a.m. Then I went to like an after hours thing until like 5. So it was a whole fucking night. So Saturday, I was like, I'm not going anywhere. Like I'm fucking tired. I actually went to like this thing for Complex Magazine. They had this like big food hall. I was there filming content. I'm hungover as shit. The content probably sucks, whatever.
Yeah.
And I leave. And then I find out that Rob McElhenney is about to be in the neighborhood. I'm like, okay, shit. Well, because he's got a whiskey company, Four Walls Whiskey. And it's him, Glenn Howerton, and Charlie Day. So it's the guys from Always Sunny in Philadelphia have their own whiskey. So I walk in the bar. The bar is pretty packed, but there's like 2 seats open at the bar. I'm by myself. So I just sit. And the next thing I know, 30 minutes later, Rob McElhenney just walks in and is standing right in front of me. And so me and him are just kind of shooting the shit. And he's pouring shots of whiskey. And then the whole bar's like hanging out. His wife, Caitlin Olsen, also very famous. She's there. Steve Levy, the ESPN personality guy, he's behind the bar for no reason, just doing shots. Like everyone's hanging out like, "Oh, Rob." People are obviously quoting Always Sunny to him. He's a very good sport about it. He's very nice and very generous and all that shit. So got to see and talk to Rob McElhenney. I think my favorite quote from that night was at one point he's pouring into the shots. And again, I'm right in front of him. And I think I did tweet this out as well, but I didn't tweet out the interaction, but the little like the nipple thing broke. And so the shots ended up being huge. And I'm watching them pour, and I'm like, "Oh, those are some big shots you got going on." He looks at me, he's like, "Well, we're here to get drunk, right?" And I was like, "Oh man, classic Rob, like perfect line." He wasn't even drinking, like he's there to support his whiskey. It was great. So I had that moment. So then I leave there.
Jesus.
And I'm like, okay, now my night's over. I'm going to chill out. And I haven't told you this story yet, Jeff, but I go into my apartment and maybe 10 minutes later, I look down at my phone and my buddy, who's a comedian here locally, just texts me. He says, Shane Gillis, surprise set, Saturn Bar, go now. And I'm like, wait, what? So Shane Gillis, probably most famous comedian in the world right now, is also in town. He was doing a comedy show also Saturday night. Saturn Bar is this little teeny dive bar / dance club in this neighborhood in New Orleans that you would never in a million years picture anyone famous ever going to for any reason. Me thinking I have time, I'm like, well, I'm hearing this news. Let me shower and get ready because I'm fucking tired and I just got done doing the Rob McElhenney thing. So I leave. I get there an hour later. I pull up to fucking Saturn Bar and I'm looking around and there's so many fucking people outside of this thing that I'm like, what? I've never seen this neighborhood like this ever. I mean, there's people spilling out of the bar. There's people wrapped around the side of it. They're 3, 4, 5 deep. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, okay, Shane Gillis is famous, but this is some next level shit. Pull out. I'm with Lauren. We get in line and we hear so first off, it's an old bar. And so the walls are extremely thin. So you can hear crystal clear everything that's going on inside that bar. I just hear a dude singing songs. I hear a dude singing songs and playing guitar. And it's like he's standing next to me because, again, walls are paper thin. But what I notice immediately is everyone that's in line, it has their ear pressed up to the bar and they're singing along. So the whole line that's outside the bar is singing in unison. And I'm like, what is going on? Go on Twitter, search Saturn Bar, immediately find out what's going on. Zach Bryan's there. So Zach Bryan had showed up and had, and I guess him and Shane are buddies. So Shane went on stage and introduced him and did some jokes. Then Zach Bryan comes on and does a 30-minute set at Saturn Bar. So that's why I was listening to when I was standing outside that bar was that. So that was a crazy moment. Did not get to see them because it was just such a shit show. And then I've never seen this before, and I don't really like country music, so I kind of don't give a fuck.
Love it. Fucking love it.
Everyone there was obsessed. They were freaking out. What pissed me off was the demographic was all 20-year-old Tulane kids who were all fucked up and aggressive and yelling and just being young and drunk.
Yeah.
But they're all Zach Bryan, woo, it's that kind of a scene. And it was it was getting aggressive, to the point where I was I'm a little bit worried about some safety concerns. These kids are one thing away from this thing turning into a shit show. And I also saw something I've never seen before, which is a large chunk of them. Once the person at the front of the line was hey, the bouncer or whatever was hey, no one else is getting in. This show is ending soon. And we could hear it ending soon. We could hear Zach Bryan literally be hey guys, thanks for having me, blah, blah. And I'm standing right there. And right as soon as that's ending, half the line, which I don't know how many people, a lot, go to the very back of the bar. I guess there's a back entrance and are just standing there hovering, waiting for him to pop out because they know he's going to use the back entrance to make his escape. And I was I'm not doing that. So I just stayed in the normal line. I'm I feel uncomfortable essentially stalking a celebrity because they have to use a particular exit. So you're going to get a chance to see them as they run to their car so they can go to their next event. That next event, I happen to know, was at the House of Blues because that night, Fox Sports rented it out for a private party. And my good friend is the director of the House of Blues. And he ended up drinking with the Zach Bryan band until fucking 5 a.m. So there's all sorts of shit going on. Everywhere you went, there's celebrities. At one point, when I was with Mina Kimes, which sounds funny to say, at one point when I was with Mina,
my girl, yeah, Mina Kimes,
me and Mina way back, that would definitely not be weird for me to say, for her to hear. At one point, I get a text from my same buddy who works at the House of Blues, and he's like, "Hey, Deion Sanders just walked in. You should come here because he's just hanging out." And I was like, "I can't. I'm with Mina Kimes right now." And I was like, "Try to get a picture." And he was like, "I'll try, man." And I was like, this is nuts. Everywhere you went, like, here's the magic of it. Like, all of this sounds good and fun, and it sounds like really special. But what's really cool about New Orleans, what I love about it the most, is that I really do think it's the best city to host a Super Bowl, because if you've never been here, everything here is like compact into like this certain area. Now, there's other parts of the city that are spread out. But if you're coming here for an event, like if you're coming here for the Super Bowl where the Superdome is, you can walk to the dome from anywhere in the central business district, from the French Quarter, anything like that. So when the NFL is here for a week and it's Super Bowl week, you are walking around and it's everybody all in one area. And because because everyone's in one area, like you're just so used to, like, you can't even explain it. Like I like was walking into a bar and like I turned to my left and like Dave Portnoy is hanging out with John Gruden. Like, this is the shit that you see all week. Like it's not, and it becomes like, it's weird because you're like in this weird like snow globe of all this shit going on. And one of my good friends texted me, and he lives and works in the French Quarter. And his analogy was perfect. He said, I feel like we're living in the Truman Show, but right now New Orleans is just one big, long, like 1 week long Super Bowl commercial. And I was like, that's exactly how I feel. Like, I'm at a bar and like Portnoy was talking to somebody, and in the background behind the bar, the Budweiser horses were walking by, and they were like handing out free beer. So I'm like watching, watching Hall of Fame coach John Gruden talk about like making coffee in the morning or some shit. And behind him in a window is the Budweiser Clydesdales, followed by the actual carriage. And people are just like hanging out, drinking beers. And everyone is like just in the best mood ever. Like, I had a couple of my coworkers like went and grabbed lunch, and they came back and they're like, oh man, like we were sitting down for lunch and we just ran into Joe Burrow and Travis Scott. I'm like, yeah, it's happening every day, all day, to everybody. Like, the celebrities everywhere. One of my persons like literally ran into Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, all this shit is going on at all times. But it's not just that. It's like everyone is in such a good fucking mood, man. Like, you were down there. You went to the family fest.
They
like,
were.
Like, I can't explain it because I've been living in it for a week. But like, the energy in the city was just like, you could feel it. Like, it just felt so good all week. Like, New Orleans was showing off. The weather was like 75 degrees. It was perfect weather all week. It literally only started raining when the Super Bowl actually started, which is fucking hilarious.
That's awesome.
Which is true. But like, it was perfect weather all week. Everyone and their mother was in town, and everyone is just walking around and hanging out with each other and like talking about football and like seeing their favorite celebrity and like snagging a picture. And there's all these fun events to go to, and a lot of them are free. You just have to like RSVP to them, and you can like go in and check it out. Like, you have all these access to like, you know, all these like celebrities and events and like pop-ups and activations that you would never have. And it really was like living in a Super Bowl commercial for the past week. It has been such an incredible experience, man. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm probably forgetting about stories, you know? I mean, like, fuck, it's like after like the Rob McElhenney thing, he shared my story on his Instagram. And then I was like, fuck it. Now I have access to DM Rob. So let me send him like a quick message, just being like, hey, like, you and your wife have been a big part of my life for 20 years. I understand that you're working while you're here, so I hope you get to enjoy New Orleans too. And then I ended up in a DM conversation with Rob McElhenney for like 30 minutes. I'm like, this, like, it's just stupid shit like that is just really cool. It's stuff I will never forget. And it's just been an awesome fucking week, man. Now, with that all being said, I'm also fucking exhausted.
No, dude.
Because it's been so much stuff. But like, the highlight of it for sure was the Mina Kimes situation, because she's so nice that she didn't have to do any of that. Like, I'm not a dude that she knows fucking clearly. And you know, we had like a mutual connection. And then she was like, yeah, come tell him to like hang out. Like, that's totally fine. And then I'm just like, I've never met you. Like, you are literally like the biggest sports personality on TV, male or female, throw that shit out of the window. Like, you are the GOAT. And I mean, this is how I view her. And it's just cool to like, you just get these things will happen if you're just kind of in the mix and walking around. And it's pretty wild to see.
Dude, I was looking up, as you mentioned, Steve Levy being at the bar, right? He was there with Rob McElhenney, and I just checked out his Twitter real quick, and his last tweet 5 hours ago sums up exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
All it said was, New Orleans is America's best Super Bowl city.
Yeah.
And what you said is like any other city in the country, and I've lived in a lot of them. I'm not a lot, but plenty.
Yes.
Most cities are just absolutely so spread out. Right? Because they're big. They're huge. They're giant, sprawling, metropolises. New Orleans is the biggest, smallest city in the country. Like, it's so European.
Yeah.
That like there's so many levels and layers to it. Like, the French Quarter literally has like 15,000 secret rooms. Like, just when you think like there's a bar there, what is that? And then you open, and then there's another door in that bar to another bar, and it's like, it's perfect for celebrities, because celebrities could come here and get lost in shitty little bars and shitty little spots and tiny little things. So New Orleans is perfect for this, because it allows everybody to mix in. And also too, like, now, of course, there's tons of tourists and people from out of town, but like, people from New Orleans, as somebody who's not from New Orleans, like, they're cool. Like, I think, most New Orleanians, they run into a celebrity. Some are used to it, some aren't, but they just play it cool. Like New Orleans people are just used to like crazy shit and like weird stuff happening. And so it's just perfect. Everything you described, like, again, from my circle of friends, some were down there. One went to the Super Bowl. Like, just the photos that were coming around, the stories, in the office today, we were talking, and we're like a block off, St. Charles. And one of my team members was like, yeah, I walked by, went to go get something from the corner store and walked by Igor's, and Bruno Mars was there. There was Bruno Mars hanging right there. So it's like the random celebrities just like popping up out of nowhere.
Commercial. You're like, I can't believe this. You're like living in a dream. Like, everywhere you go, it doesn't, and like there's like glitter falling and like music playing everywhere. And like everyone's like happy and hugging and like talking about like football and just shooting the shit. Like, it's such a happy environment. And then you sprinkle in stuff like that, and you're like, I'm dreaming. And it's funny that you say that, because I literally posted a video tonight just kind of recapping New Orleans. I post like a reel, and I posted a TikTok just basically summarizing the Super Bowl. And I said the same thing. I think a big part of it is, for whatever reason, when celebrities or people of any kind of notoriety are here, for the most part, we will leave them alone. So they get a chance to like blend in and kind of just like hang out and be normal people, right? Well, normal to a degree. I mean, you still have to, get chauffeured from here and there, and there's levels and there's degrees of celebrity. But for the most part, like, you can do. I don't know, man. It's really hard to like kind of encapsulate everything. It really was just a magical fucking week with just really cool shit happening everywhere you turn. And now there's a viral story going around where Post Malone, I don't know if you've seen this yet, but it's amazing. So
I'm looking at it right now. I'm literally looking at it right now. So, it's fixed. The situation is fixed.
I'm glad it's fixed. So the situation was, Post Malone went into a bar. This bar is called Howlin' Wolf. And this bar is, again, random, whatever the fuck. Post Malone's there. He has a tab, drinks a little bit, does whatever he's doing. His tab is not much at all. And on top of his tab, he tips the server $2,000. So he tips her $2,000, and they're using Square to run the services. And Square basically is like, hey, we don't believe this amount is real. You get $200 from this transaction. And then that post went viral because the server was like, please help me get this $2,000. Like, Post Malone like gave this to me. Like, this is a real thing. And then it went viral, and Square had to get involved. And I'm sure Post Malone probably got involved too. He was like, hey, no, that was me. Like, I gave her $2,000. Like, you guys can authorize it. So it's just little funny, just little stories like that, man. It's been fucking awesome. It's been such a cool week. It really is hard to put into words, but like the Steve Levy thing, that makes total sense. And it's like, if you wonder what it's like to be in New Orleans during a Super Bowl week, just your favorite, like, to the Kraken Pod fan that are listening, your favorite celebrity that was in New Orleans over the past week, just like look up what they had to say about their experience being here. Because for the most part, across the board, everyone's like, this is the best. Like, it's fucking awesome. It's so much fun, man. The only thing is that there's too much to do. Like, I literally could not be in more places at one time. I wish you could like split and do things. It's like, I mean, I'm literally texting my friend he's like, come see Deion Sanders. Like, I can't, I'm hanging out with Mina Kimes. It's like, like shit like this is happening. And it's like, I can only, do so many things at once. But man, what a fucking week.
Amazing week. Amazing recap. Like you just mentioned, it's only Monday, and I guarantee by the end of this week, we're going to hear so many stories that have not been told yet. I'm definitely refreshing Twitter like crazy just to make sure that I can, get all these cool stories. So, dude, get some rest.
Yes.
Okay. Enjoy the Kraken break. Definitely try and watch some Four Nations face off. I'm going to definitely be doing that. Your Super Bowl hangover, you got to rest up too, dude, because Mardi Gras is around the corner, carnival season, parading season. And the last thing I'll say too is New Orleans needed the Super Bowl. New Orleans needed the Super Bowl. Because I can tell you after New Year's Day, it was like, oh God, how are we going to host the Super Bowl? And then it came, and it was the best thing to happen to New Orleans. Just awesome. So I can say this is when the Super Bowl comes back in 9-10 years to New Orleans, like the kids will be older. I'm spending the whole damn week down in the quarter.
You should, dude. I'm telling you, it is. Yeah, it was magic. It was literally magical. It was very cool to be a part of it. Next time it circles back around, I would just take the week and just spend the week downtown and just soak it all in.
Totally. At that point, I'll be a billionaire, so I'll probably be hanging with Gail Benson and all that stuff. So I'll make sure you're with me. I'll let you in.
The billionaires were here, and they were staying at the what's that really nice hotel? The Windsor Court.
Oh yeah.
My buddy ran to fucking Jeff Bezos there. So that's they had crazy security at the Windsor Court because that's where all the billionaires with the B were hanging out, Jeff. So yeah, it's been a wild week, man. There's been a lot going on.
All right, well, let's go Kraken. Back to the Seattle Kraken. Let's mix it. They're thinking of some moves. They're sleeping in. They're thinking about making those moves. Let's have that happen. Awesome, epic Super Bowl recap. Joey, get some sleep. I'm gonna do the same thing. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you. We will leave you. Oh, and Mina Kimes, I know you're listening too. You're awesome. Thanks for treating Joey so well. Oh, and Rob McElhenney, he's listening too. So that's awesome, man. Nightman cometh. It's awesome, dude. All right.
I'm gonna get Mina to start watching Seattle Kraken hockey. I know she has a busy life and she's a football gal for the most part, also Mariners fan, but she's a Seattle sports fan, period. We just can't get her watching this year because it's not happening. But also, I didn't get a chance to explain to her what the Dundertaker shirt was. So I could just picture her later on, like pulling out the shirt from the bag and looking at it and being like, "What the fuck did this guy give me?" And I would have paid to see the response on her reaction on her face when she pulled that out. So I didn't get a chance to explain it. So I'm like, but she knows her sports far better than I do. So she'll put two and two together. She's fine.
Joey, get some sleep. Stop fucking hanging out with celebrities and drinking with them and stuff. Like, just knock it off. Like, you're kind of addicted to it. So please, just take a break, will you? Jeez.
I did the photo thing. I finally asked for one photo, and it was Mina Kimes. It was the best. I'm 1 for 1, and that's the only photo I'm ever going to ask for.
So proud of you, dude. All right, good job. Have an awesome week, man. Get some rest, and we'll leave you with our Kraken Pod Chirp of the Week.